Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today let's talk about the phrase "Git Good." I hate this phrase. Actually, there's a phrase I used to hate more called "nuff said." People would frequently, on the net, in internet news groups, end a post with "nuff said," as if they had said everything that was possible to say on the topic, and there was no need for a reply because it's been exhausted. And then if someone did reply and then they replied, I'd often see people go, "I thought you said enough was said. I thought you said you'd said enough." So I think that's why that one went away. But this "get good" phrase, well, let me talk about it. So I did a video where I mentioned I liked Elder Ring, but I wasn't that big of a fan of Dark Souls. And there were reasons, and people were saying, "Oh my God, they're so similar." And I'm like, yeah, but the very reasons I liked Elder Rings, some of those weren't present in Dark Souls. And sometimes I need all those things together for me to enjoy a game. And when I tell people things, when I was originally trying out Dark Souls and Bloodborne and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really into this. They're like, well, just because you need to get good. And often they just go, well, get good. And I heard that phrase a lot, and I don't like it. Sometimes it's not used as a personal attack. They really mean, well, if you were better at the game, you'd probably like it. But it got turned into one. It got get good just would be, people would on an online PvP match, the winner team would just yell "get good" at the opponents, and they mean it. They don't mean it as, I think you'd enjoy this game better. They mean it as a personal attack, and I see this everywhere. I've talked about this. When I see people discuss the original Fallout, sometimes I've seen them say, "Well, look at the character creation is so great because look at all the numbers." And I'm like, Fallout isn't cool because the character creation was a wall of numbers. It's cool because it lets you make your own character, and you can make a lot of different characters, and that helped. But really, the reason making a lot of different characters is such a good thing in that game is because with different characters come different decisions you have to make at character creation and then later. And then you have to accept responsibility for those decisions or those actions. You have to accept responsibility for your actions. That's kind of one of the biggest points of Fallout. It's why we have end slides. It's the whole point of, the entire world has been nuked. Guess what? We did that to ourselves. Welcome to Fallout. And it's frustrating that people focus on things like, oh, it had the best character creator. That's why the game was so good. Well, it kind of makes me look at the rest of the game and go, what about all this stuff? And yes, when I made Outer Worlds, I wanted to lower that curve. I still wanted it to have the same peak, but I wanted a shallower curve to get there because I wanted more people playing, and not just for the sales. Although, you know what? The sales weren't bad. It's nice to occasionally make a game that's not considered niche or I've just, popular in a very, very narrow band of people. But it was nice to have a game like that. And yet, when people would then compare it to Fallout and say, well, I think the reason this isn't as good is because Fallout had more things you could put numbers in. I'm like, I think there's a whole bunch of reasons to like something and not like something. In fact, I have a whole video on bad games where I talk about not every game should be for everyone. But I don't think games should be deliberately exclusionary either. I see people say this game isn't for you, and I see them say it in two very different ways. Sometimes it just means, look, this game isn't for you. I don't think there's an appeal in this game for you. It wasn't really made for the things you like. If you don't like puzzle games, I could see pointing to a puzzle game and going, this game isn't for you. But the second one is often as, yeah, this game isn't for you. Why don't you go find a more casual friendly game? And they really mean it as exclusionary. You're not good enough to be playing this. And by the way, so much misinterpretation of that bad game video. I did not say that you can't think a game is bad. I think games are bad. You can think games are bad. What I did mean by it, which everybody seems to gloss over, is the part where I said if you think you thinking a game is bad equates to that means a game is bad for everyone. That's wrong. You can hate a game. Fine. Other people can like it. That's fine too. I like it when people are constructive. Like, I didn't like it because of these features. And I wish they talked about the game itself. But too frequently, it just evolves into attacks on the people playing the game or the game developers. That's where I draw my line. That's where I'm like, you guys are getting bad. That's why I don't like Git Good when it turns into a personal attack. I did a video on the Fallout TV show, and there in the comment section there were people, attacking each other for being stupid, for liking it, for hating it, for not noticing something. And it's like, guys, you can like a TV show or not. It's not personal. Same thing happened on when I was the video I did on career advice I got from Adam Savage, and people were going on me saying you're a horrible person. Somebody said you're shady AF, and I'm like, it's just so you know, I start to read those and I'm like, unconstructive, next comment. But there were a lot of people, and I liked these, and you can tell I liked it because I answered them. Or they actually answered questions. They asked questions. They're like, well, why did you do that? Why didn't you do this? And then we had a conversation, and it went well. But a lot of you don't want to do that. You do not want a conversation. You don't want to figure out anything. You just want to be right, and you want everybody else to be wrong. And worse than that, you want everyone else to be stupid or whatever. So I guess what I'm trying to say in all this is feel free to disagree. I think it's great when people disagree. Some of the best stuff that I've done in my games have arisen because people on the team have disagreed. And when we talked it out, we came up with something much better. But once you attack, I'm done. I'm usually done listening. But I'm usually done even reading. There's enough people who've done enough attacks that I don't really read any of their comments anymore. So they may be making brilliant comments now, but I see the name and I'm like, I don't feel like wading through another attack today. So I just skip it. I don't think people realize that a lot of people do this online. So once you get known as being the person who just yells all the time, your audience is of people who are engrossed are reduced. I know people say, oh no, rage and hate videos are all the rage. But yeah, you're right. That'll give you clicks and stuff. But I'm not here for clicks. I kind of want people to understand how game development works. And just calling everybody who plays games and makes games stupid isn't going to give you much insight in how games are made. So, what's my point of all this? There's a big difference between saying you don't like something and saying to someone, you're stupid for liking it. And that's pretty much all I'm saying. Just try to be a little more reflective in your comments. Try to be better at leaving some of those comments. Try to get good at your comments. Yeah, I see what I did there. Anyway, that's all I'm trying to say. So, thanks.